Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Not's Collage. I'm Christian, and to my left is...
Jersey.
And her left is...
Jess.
On tonight's show, we'll be looking at all things Nottingham, ranging from charity, policing, food, music, cinema, beer, craft markets, and the Gothic alternative scene.
Hope you've got an appetite. First up, we are joining Sammy for the start of his mission to solve being hungry in Hockley.
Are we doing the whole thing again?
Welcome to Hungry in Hockley, a show where me and my friends are hungry. In Hockley. It's a food review show, what else do you want to know? First on the agenda, Hockley Kitchen.
So we couldn't get a seat inside because it's very crowded. So we're sitting outside. We've got a bit of J2O here. I've got Yasu on the camera.
So gross.
I got the cheese and tuna melt. You've got the...
Cheese and pickle, grilled cheese.
Yep, triple.
Looks good. Where to start? Oh, God.
And off he goes, chewing down his sandwich.
That's good.
It's got... Where's the pickles?
It's sweet pickle, isn't it?
What's triple about it?
Triple cheeses. 3 different cheeses.
Right.
I have no clue what the cheeses are. Can we still say Kanye West made graduation even after everything he's done on Twitter? Alright, so here we have Sammy.
Yep, tuna melt.
Tuna melt. Oh. He's gonna let us know his thoughts.
And off I go, chewing down my sandwich. Still going.
Not bad so far. No, I like nice melted cheese.
Still going.
I like the tuna.
Wow, I took a long time doing this sandwich.
That's good.
Seems to be liking it.
Yeah. It's a decently put together sandwich, nice and cheesy. It could do with a bit of seasoning, I'll say that. The real sandwiches were the friends we made along the way.
Oh, God.
Final verdict, good place, clean enough, decent service, good food, just a bit overpriced, and the place is a little cramped. I give it a 3.5 stars.
Hi.
Now we have begun to line our stomachs, may I personally introduce you to the Red Dog Brewery.
16, we had a log cabin put on the garden where that gave me my ability to do all my home brewing in there. That went on for a few years, and then I was lucky enough to join Magpie Brewery based in Nottinghamshire. I was there for a few years and went on to be their head brewer before, 2023 and 2022 started this place, and yeah, it just took off from there basically. The name and the logo, Red Dog Ales. I've got 2 red and white border collie dogs. This is the logo me and my wife designed online. When we come up with the logo, we thought it was a lovely, clean looking design basically, and it just fits really well. So since establishing, early 2023, we're now award winning. We've won a bronze award for our core stout, which is called Pit Black, a 4.5% stout. We sell all our beers across Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire into the city centre, and all around the local, villages and into independent pubs basically. So current future plans. The unit, I absolutely love the unit. It's big enough for what I need. As you can see over here, I've got a lovely big unit tank, and I would love to expand, probably get a couple more on the go. So just up production basically, and keep up, the success of what's happening here in Red Dog Ales. So let's come and show you how to make beer. So it all starts with this tank here. It's got a hot liquor tank. Stores all your hot water. We need to get that to around about 78 degrees before we're ready to, start the whole process. So we'll come up to here. This is what you call a big mash tun. Basically, the hot water distributes into the mash tun. The grain gets all mixed with it to create like a really thick porridge consistency. And then we leave the lids on after it's all mixed up. And and then around about an hour, leave it to match basically. After it's out of the process, we will drain it out into an underbag, and then we can filter it. Any grains not seep through, we'll fly it around the pod, and then it will go straight into the kettle or the copper as it's called. So as that's boiling up, we add hops into the top of the tank, let them all distribute in there. Different hops, American hops, English hops, whatever flavour style you go for. An hour's boil, and then we're ready to chill down. We pass it through the pod, in through the Paraflow chiller, and then it'll eventually end up in this tank when all the parts are connected up. We add the yeast into the tank when it's at 20 degrees, and then we'll leave it for a good 10 days. After the 10 days is done, we'll chill it down, and we put it into a firkin or smaller one known as a pin. These then will go into the cold room, into here. As you can see, this is my stock, not too much left at the moment, we've had a busy week. So I want to keep this around about 10, 11 degrees. We're all good to go. They last a good like 3 months in there. So being in the cold room here, it will then get delivered into tubs, and then we can also do the bottling process as well. Now, if I'm bottling, this is my little bottling room. As you can see, it's all set up now for bottling today. We bottle up, we get around about 80 bottles per cask, per firkin, all done by gravity filling. We'll put a cap on it, let it cool up for a couple of weeks. We'll get the heaters on in a bit. After a couple of weeks, you'll then get your finished product.
Right, so what do you think of, do you like ale, guys? What's your thoughts on that?
I find it very impressive that you managed to turn a hobby into an award-winning job. But no, I don't like ale.
No, I'm surprised it's because it started with winemaking, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then it's gone to ale, and so.
I mean, can I just say, I thought it was really inspirational because I've known, he's my uncle, I've known him for many years, and I've seen him build that place just from a little garden shed, and then he's now got his own big warehouse where he can make his own ales and sell them to all places in Derbyshire and Nottingham, and I think it's really cool, and yeah.
Donut lovers everywhere, I pose to you one question: do or do not? Hello, welcome to Do or Do Not. My name is Jess and I'm here with
Jack.
And today we'll be ranking donuts from 4 different places around Nottingham. Tesco, the UK supermarket, Greggs, a British bakery chain, Dunkin' Donuts, a coffee company from the United States, and Donuts, our very own take on the sweet fried dough.
According to reviews, donuts is the most popular. However, the only way we can verify this is if we rank all 4 donuts based on price and quality.
First up, we have the cheapest option, Tesco, at 75p.
Basically,
already looking at it, it looks stale.
I mean, it feels, the context of it, it looks like if you had a cob and then left it out on the side in the summer for 2 hours and then went back to eat it for some odd reason. That is.
Next up, we have Greggs at £1.20.
The icing's a lot more tasty, I'd say.
It was a lot better than the Tesco one, which just wouldn't go down at all. And next up, we have Dunkin' at £2.60. Oh God, no, I did not like that at all.
No.
It's very. It doesn't taste like a donut.
Feels like I had a slice of bread and I just poured a bag of sugar on it.
And lastly, we have
damn.
donuts at £3.75.
Donut bread, actual donut bread.
I think 1000% donuts for quality.
You may as well have ordered that off Wish, like that's just.
I think for me, second for quality is Greggs.
I'd agree.
I'm putting Tesco above Dunkin' for quality, because Dunkin's, that wasn't a donut. That was just bread with sugar on. At least there was a bit of moisture when it came to the Tesco donut versus the Dunkin' donut.
I'm tired.
I guess we would not recommend either of them. Based off price, I put Greggs above donuts because for really good quality,
I mean, £3
only-
difference
yeah,
is, yeah.
£1.20 for Greggs donut versus £3.75. I personally, unless it's a treat or a birthday or something, wouldn't spend £4 on a donut, regardless of quality. So I think £1.20 for a Greggs donut is perfect quality for price. I would spend £1.20 on a donut.
I'm gonna have to agree. If we're looking at measuring taste and value for money. Like you said, if it's a special occasion, a birthday or something, you know, £3.75, something like that, absolutely, because it's great. But if you're just popping in and you just want a snack, the Tesco, even though it is the cheapest, Greggs I think is better. So
Yeah. I'd put Tesco, because these were tied, we have to agree that it's better to buy the Tesco donut than it is to buy the Dunkin', because Dunkin' is £2.60.
So nearly £2 difference.
And we've tied it with a 75p donut.
Quality
so if you want
and
a
taste,
cheap,
yeah, it's too similar.
not so good quality donut, go to Tesco. I just avoid Dunkin'.
Honestly, to me, it is the same texture of biting into a cob.
It is.
It's literally that kind of texture, and also the flavour as well. There's no flavour to it at all.
This was do or do not. See you next time.
Can I just say, Jack's comparisons was very specific. Has he put sugar on bread?
Most likely.
Also, you seem like you were fighting for your life.
What do you mean?
Like you thought they were disgusting from the looks of it.
Yeah, majority of them were. They were either too sweet or too salty, and neither of those things should be in a donut.
I mean, I can't say that Donuts is fantastic, and I go there all the time, and I always get the red velvet one. It is beautiful.
They're too big.
They're expensive as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are quite expensive, but
£4.
they're the best. Like, they're homemade rather than cooked in an oven, like mass-produced. It's proper handmade.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. So it's worth the money. Yeah.
So now we join Lucy for an insider into the Nottingham craft market.
And now let's revisit Sammy on his quest to feed his continued hunt of hunger in
Next up, Lace Market Fish Bar. I think it took about like 10-15 minutes for food to get here, but anyway, here I am, food in hand.
Right. Let's go find a place to get it.
I would like to advise all viewers of Hungry in Hockley to please ignore my very sour resting face.
Sorry. Just passed the chip test.
But soon, tragedy struck.
They didn't give me my fish cake. Ah, man.
Yep, they did the unholy sin of forgetting my fish cake.
That's a good gravy. What kind of fish is this?
Cod.
A nice crispy batter. Crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, like that. Yep, that's a good fish.
Now it's time for Christian and his big sausage.
But my house is quite cold from sitting on this concrete.
That's a good idea. Tell the chip first. Hold on. The chips are nice. I'm not so sure about this gravy though. It is really fake.
Does it?
Like even Bisto is better than this. It's quite oniony as well, which is not for my taste.
Try the sausage.
The chips are really good. I like the sausage. The batter feels slightly undercooked. The gravy with the chips, I don't like it, but the gravy with this is actually really good.
We just finished up. We're absolutely stuffed.
You know what? Do you know what? I actually warmed through at the end. I thought the gravy was weird.
Why is he being more analytical than me? It's off.
What's your overall thoughts?
Overall, the food was nice quality.
I give it 4 stars.
That was unacceptable. They forgot his fish cake. And £10.90 for that. I mean, to be fair, it just tasted like any old sort of fish and chip shop.
What was so wrong with the gravy?
It was
Oniony gravy's rank.
Oh, and that's my favourite.
No.
Onions. I like onions. Don't mix it with gravy.
Still managed to eat it all though.
I mean, because I'm fat. Also, to be fair, you know, there's not actually that many fish and chip shops around Nottingham. Not like if you go to a beach.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're hungry in Hockley, you have a sausage.
All I have to say is I now want chips.
Well, to let Sammy recover and rebuild his appetite for the finale of Hungry and Hockley, let's go to Iyasu to find out a question that lingers in modern film and find out how streaming has affected cinema.
To stream or not to stream? That is the question. Many people would say streaming has affected cinema in a big way. I'm here today with the viewers to decide whether that is true or not.
Streaming has definitely negatively impacted cinema, and there's evidence of this. The amount of people that go to the cinema has significantly dropped compared to the past. In the past, people would love to go to cinema despite the size of a movie. It could be a small indie film or a massive blockbuster, but people would flock to the cinema to get that experience. But today, people would rather wait at home for a film to get on streaming because they don't want to go to the cinema. For me, as an avid cinema goer, I would always advise people to go to the cinema to get that experience, because when things happen in films that make audiences go crazy, you just want to be there. You want to experience that. You can't get that at home. You can't get that at home. Whilst, yes, streaming can be more intimate, a lot more chill, a lot more laid back, the experiences you get in the cinema cannot be topped. And that's just something that you can get in the cinema. You will always get that in cinema. You can never get those experiences at home. And that's why I believe streaming has negatively impacted cinema in To get an even further opinion on how cinema has been affected by streaming, I decided to conduct 2 interviews with 2 friends of mine and got someone's opinion who chose to remain anonymous. So we can look at those interviews and see what their opinions are and how streaming has truly affected cinema.
I personally think that streaming has negatively affected cinema, because you could say that people can find classic movies via streaming, but I think the sad reality is that the pumping out of so many streaming movies is causing studios to get quite lazy and formulaic with their filmmaking. I mean, that is an issue that's always been around, but it feels like ramped up since the rise of streaming. Now, I'll sit at home and watch these movies if I can't decide what to watch, and if people I know have enjoyed them. But there's just a magic about going to the cinema, to the big screen, with a community of people. It's something rare nowadays with the rise of streaming, and that makes me sad.
Cool. So, what do you think is the biggest effect that streaming has had on cinema nowadays?
Well, I think it's like since COVID, I think that's the biggest impact it's had, because a lot of theatrical windows as well have been really small, because they've only been like certain like release have been like 2-week theatrical runs and then straight to streaming, and then obviously same day certain times. So I think it's had a massive impact, especially over the past few years.
Due to the popularity of streaming, do you think cinema trips have taken a hit?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people are just not seeing the point, and then just waiting for it to go on streaming. And then I think it's only like certain event films, like superhero stuff, I guess. Well, I suppose like the whole Barbenheimer thing was massive a couple of years back, and that I suppose a lot of people went a lot out for that. But yeah, I think it's definitely a lot of people have just wait for streaming.
For you, what's the biggest difference between a cinema trip and streaming a movie at home?
I think it's a huge difference, especially it's like a big, it's like I suppose like a big film. If it's like IMAX, for example, you're not going to have the same effect watching it at home. if it's in like a premium screen, because you won't get certain aspect ratio changes and stuff like that. So I think it does a massive impact watching it at home.
And when was the last time you went to the cinema?
Yesterday,
And what did you go to see?
saw Drop.
How was that for you?
It was a lot of fun actually. I had a really good time with it.
So, like, with how big streaming is nowadays, do you think it would like ever take over cinema, or do you think cinema will always still like thrive for what it is?
I think cinema will still thrive because I think since COVID as well, I think a lot of people have gone out of the way to see older films. So especially when older stuff's on at the cinema, a lot of people go back and see it. It sells out like instantly. I know there was an article came back about the Prince Charles Cinema in London, who they regularly rescreen, and a lot of younger audience to go and see that. So that's I don't know. I don't think it'll die. I think cinema will still. I know it's obviously definitely had an impact because of streaming, but yeah, I can't see cinema dying.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time today.
No worries.
My last question for you today is, do you think cinema will ever reach the heights that it once was at again?
Do I ever think that cinema will ever reach its heights again? Probably. I'd say I'm unsure right now because, well, if we look at, the summer blockbusters of 2023 was like, I think the biggest cinema's been in quite a bit because, had Barbenheimer, you got all these people dressed in pink going to the cinema, and you got all these people saying, oh, Oppenheimer is a masterpiece. Personally, I didn't like Oppenheimer, but I think it's possible. It's just people need to get up their asses, go into the cinema, and just sit down and watch a movie. That's all they need to do. Also, studios need to market their films better. Like, back with Transformers 1, I haven't watched it yet. I got the DVD, I'll watch that soon enough, but I heard it's a great film, but it's just the advertising just didn't look that great. I mean, with all these things, it felt like some out-of-touch executive was just running the Twitter account. But yes, it needs to advertise the movies better, and maybe that'll make people go to the cinema more.
Thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
It's always good to have conversations like these and getting everyone's opinions. But the question still remains, to stream or not to stream? To go to the cinema or to stay at home? I have my answers. I'm hoping to hear yours. Thank you for watching.
The trust has...
Well, there you go. So guys, to stream or not to stream?
It's a mix. You can't get the same feeling as going to the cinema, can you? Especially when it's like a long-awaited film. But it's not the same as it used to be, is it?
I don't think streaming makes cinema dead at all. I just think maybe they should stop overpricing cinemas. Yeah. Because personally for me, I'd rather spend the same price of one ticket on being able to watch 100 different films. But also I feel like it is a good thing because like with Barbie and Oppenheimer, they had so much advertisement and that went crazy. And I remember Spider-Man, that went insane. It's made it a lot more competitive in the film world, and all the best films get pushed, and they do get a lot of people in the cinema. Same with the Minecraft. It's all on advertisement. You can't blame streaming if you're not doing what you're supposed to.
I mean, at the end of the day, if there's a film coming out in the cinema that you can't stream yet, you're going to want to go see it, especially if you really want to see it. I will agree, though, that things have been, ever since streaming, just films I feel like have gotten more... I feel like lazier, and also anyone can post stuff now, which is great. But then obviously everything's going to vary in quality, and I feel like the higher up people now, like they can post stuff, they can make stuff, they can make films, and it's just for the money now. Obviously it's always for the money, but there's no heart in films anymore. And like Minions can just pump out films, and it's going to make money. But I feel like it's lost its heart. So, homelessness is a global epidemic helpers out there, especially in Nottinghamshire, with the Can Trust charity?
The Trust has always provided food and toiletries, warm clothing to anyone in need.
Hello and welcome to the Cane & Trust Food Store. This is where we bring all our donations from different communities, churches, etc. And we also have to go out and buy a lot of food as well. So the food comes in, it's taken to the table, you can see behind me. Everything's dated and sorted, so it's sorted into years and then months, so hopefully there is no wastage. They provide grab bags with items that they don't desperately need to cook with. We also provide toilet bags for males and females. So we give out a food parcel once a week that contains 11 items, and the hygiene packs can go out once a month. We also get lots of donations of clothes, sleeping bags, which we share with a street outreach team in Derby. We provide them with cooked chicken and sandwiches, etc. We're also very lucky that we get food from Greggs every night. That goes into the food parcels as well. And then we've got other items in the other room, so such as crockery, cutlery, bedding, clothing, shoes, that kind of thing, that goes out to people in the community or our lads when they're getting ready to move on. We also have a lot of donations of really nice items, soap sets, bath sets, that kind of thing that we use for our tombola stores when we're out in the community fundraising.
I became aware of the Trust because I'd been working in advertising. I ran my own advertising sales company for 40 odd years. I was kind of going into semi-retirement, and the Trust at that stage were looking for a new project manager. Their other project manager was moving on, so I basically applied for the position, and that's history. 16 years later I'm here. The Trust is probably 4 or 5 times bigger than it was 16 years ago. The complexity of the work that we do has got greater over the years. Sadly, the need has continued to grow, and the Trust is flourishing and developing from being a male-only service to shortly being a male and a female service. When the Trust first started, if you were female and homeless, the statutory authorities, i.e. local authority and social care and similar, as a female they would see you as being vulnerable, so they would take care of you, and therefore the Trust tended to look after males because they weren't given that same courtesy by the statutory authorities. In the last 8 to 10 years, with the cutbacks in services and the economy, etc., local authorities and social care, doesn't matter what your gender is, basically you're on your own to a certain extent, and the need has grown. So the Trust has, for the last 8 to 10 years, worked with females and families out in the community, but we lack that final piece of the jigsaw of having somewhere that we could actually offer them as a safe place to live on a temporary basis, and to help them basically rebuild their lives and to achieve independent living again. So the Trust basically started fundraising. We purchased a property in 2023. It needed an extensive refurb. The actual project is costing the Trust just over £600,000. That doesn't include the purchase of the property. And all of that money the Trust didn't have. We had to raise it. So we've been busy fundraising over the last 2 years, raised the money, started the work, and the work is coming to its climax as we speak. Fantastic. And we're hoping to open the house in April this year. It's because we care and we want to make a difference.
Things like this is very important, especially with the economy, how it is now. I mean, it's, you know, homelessness has been a problem for many years, but I think it's certainly on the rise. And I also think it is great how, you know, instead of wasting food like Greg's, they will actually take them in and give them to people who really need it.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. It's definitely needed in today's world with everything in price going up and everything being even worse for just anyone, let alone homeless people.
Those that are more unfortunate than others tend to resort to crime. Join me as I investigate crime in Nottingham, or should I say Shottingham?
The gangland godfather who's been compared to the Krays.
Built on drugs and ruled by violence, and their army of henchmen who intimidated, tortured and assassinated to get what they wanted.
Executions and kidnappings. He used corrupt policemen.
And, you know, I killed someone with a single punch. I bit his eyelids off and his lips off and swallowed them.
Over the years, Nottinghamshire has gained itself a reputation, especially in the early 2000s, with a spike in unemployment leading to the nationally recognised reputation as Shottingham. Around 2003 was when the term Shottingham had been brought to light after there were 77 reported shootings. 3 years later, Colin Gunn was arrested after his reign over the Nottinghamshire village Bestwood. Colin and his brother David ruled the estate and built a multi-million-pound empire with drug cartels, murders, violence and extortion.
Gunn has been to a number of notorious murders. He was already serving a life sentence, and today he's been found guilty of police corruption.
The gangster, the corrupt cops, a police force under pressure.
Colin's ruling was over after the devastating deaths of Joanne and John Sterling that he'd organised, receiving him 35 years in prison. David, on the other hand, has received 23 years prior due to multiple sentences, but is now not in prison and urges people to stay out of the criminal life.
To be honest, it's kind of appalling because even the other day, me and my friend had gone to an incident. I heard that a stabbing happened near Primark, so it's kind of shocking. But I feel like the police managed to do their job just a little bit. To be honest, I feel like the amount of police right now, it's okay. I do see them quite frequently as I'm travelling back and forth, so it seems decent enough. Decent enough, yeah.
I think there's definitely been like more police in the centre I've seen, so I think definitely like they've made it more safe. I think maybe more in the evening. There's quite a few in the day, so maybe like even
maybe around the clubs a bit more.
First year I lived in St Anne's, so I think on our second week I think someone got mugged outside.
Oh really?
I didn't see it, but I think it happened, or I think I know it happened. I also got back one night and there were 8 police cars outside of a house. I'm pretty sure I heard screaming and I heard a girl crying, so I don't know what that was. Yeah, luckily I had someone with me, but I was about to call the police and then obviously loads of police cars turned up. And then second year, someone broke into our house. We were living in flats, not ours for some reason because we were on the ground floor, but I think 2 above. Other than that, I volunteered at a homeless shelter just down the road, so there was quite a bit of work with that. Police officers would come in sometimes. Of course, yeah. So there's been quite a bit. I'm from like the middle of nowhere, so coming to the city, you do notice quite a lot. Oh yeah, definitely. I think at night time it can feel quite unsafe sometimes, especially like even just recently, me and my flatmate will be like opening up our phone and it'll be like, oh, there's a stabbing literally like right there, or there's like a stabbing just up the road. I think daytime I'm okay, obviously it depends where you are. Like right now I'd have no issue. When it gets dark I'd be okay on like the main roads.
Watch over your shoulder kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
but then obviously the further out of the city you get, you just be a bit more careful.
Well, I'll tell you this much. When I did, like one of the only times I've actually had to use 999, honestly, it was pointless. I might as well have gone out and just faced him myself. Communication between the phone handler and the people coming to you. You have one really good fucking policeman or policewoman. They'll get the job done better than 10 untrained ones.
I feel like as a girl, I'm obviously a bit more cautious during the night, but I think if you're with friends, everything is fine. Like, going alone is obviously a bit unsafe, but I think if I'm with friends.
Well, there you go. You know, keeping safe, especially during the night, is very important. What do you think? Do you think women have to be more cautious during the night and day?
Yeah, I think we spoke to a lot of people, and it was crazy to see the difference in opinions. You'd speak to, say, more elderly people, and they'd kind of say that, you know, I don't really go out in the night time, and so I don't really see a lot. But then you'd speak to some of the younger generation, it's more like, I don't really like to go out at night alone. And so I think Nottingham's reputation for partying and being a party city goes hand in hand with its reputation for crime and things like that. So, yeah, but I definitely do think it's more of a focus on young people and definitely young women.
Would you say there's been an increase since the last 20 years?
Well, that's how they originally had got on the term Shottingham, when there was 77 reported shootings in a year. And then it's been quite high up on the list. So,
and I think social media is not helping that with, you know, especially young boys now carrying more big knives and stuff.
I don't think that's necessarily because of social media. I think that's necessarily because there's such standards on these boys to be tough and to be... It's the way they were raised. It's the way that these boys have been raised, that they need to be tough and they need to be men-like.
Yeah.
And they see everyone else doing it, and the more that others do it, the more that they do it. And then it just becomes a thing. But it does tend to be young men, which is why it is worse for women than it is for men at night time, especially.
Do you ever feel safe when you're on
Oh
your
no,
own?
I wouldn't be alone.
Another thing is how easily accessible these weapons are.
Yeah.
Like knives and things straight off Amazon, delivered next day delivery.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not like knives you can buy from a shop which for like cooking, which is already sharp. It's these really over the top massive blades.
Yeah, they have machetes and everything.
Yeah.
You see all sorts.
So what about those who like things different? Nottingham has a great alternative scene. Case in point, take it away, Bella.
Hi, my name is Bella, and today we will be talking about the alternative scene in England. The first place I decided to visit was Hopkinson's. This is a vintage and antique store that used to be a haunted museum.
My name is Elliot. I'm basically the assistant manager for the retail side of Hopkinson's.
What kind of customers and demographic do you attract here?
We attract a lot of alternative people, and we absolutely love it here. A lot of LGBTQ customers. We're like a safe haven for them. And my boss, he made like rainbow vases on top of some of the cabinets, just to have a nod for the LGBTQ rainbow. We love everybody here, so everybody is pretty much welcome.
So what tips do you have for finding quality items?
For quality items, it honestly depends what it is that you're after. If it's crystals, I will always tell people to go upstairs into the witchy section. If it's more gothic clothing, again upstairs at the back or on the ground floor in the corner. If it's jewellery, I will always tell them about the jewellery counter. If it's for gaming or like trading cards, always point them to the back end, which we have tons of it. If it's for stuff like records down in the basement, same with postcards or even books. We've got a library down there, and we've got tons and tons of old books, and it's you can find pretty much anything here.
I saw there was like these X-ray things on the basement.
Yeah, even the X-rays.
Really interesting.
The X-rays are awesome.
Yeah, I spent loads of time looking at those. What other places do people who like Hopkinson's go to in Nottingham?
And a lot of people that like Hopkinson really like escape rooms. You can have a very similar vibe. People like going to Cobden Chambers, which is kind of like another independent place where people can rent out space. That was a really good one. So Hitting Pendulum, Tap and Tumbler, any of the rocky places. So we get a lot of people that love coming here, but also love going to those kind of venues. Gigs as well. People that come here love their gigs.
Do you think there's still a good alt culture in Nottingham?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just from the past 2 years from working here, the amount of people that I've seen become more alternative, it's insane. In the place that I used to work in, you hardly saw any alternative people. But here, it's like 90% of our customers, and I freaking love it. The scene in Nottingham is getting more alternative, and more people are just falling in love with it. It's great.
The next place I decided to visit was Tap and Tumbler. It's a rock and roll type of vibe in there. Spoke with Jay, who is also part of Narwhal Presents, does some really cool different types of events. The place I went to was called The Chapel. All live music with loads of different punk artists.
We are the Tap and Tumbler. I'd say we're an alternative rock bar in Nottingham. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know where the inspiration came from. It's just, as far as I've been aware, always been like this. Been a pub for, as a Tap and Tumbler, 40 years, I think. It was trading before that for quite a while as well.
What makes you special from other pubs in the area?
I think we have quite a unique, distinct style. There's not too many proper rock bars in Nottingham. There's a couple, but there's not a few. I think we've got quite distinct style, yeah.
What's the vibe and the atmosphere, type of people that visit here?
Always really friendly, always really nice. Tend to have more alternative people, but we're a completely inclusive venue. We like to promote, safe space for anybody to come, but usually quite quirky people come in.
What type of music do you play?
Predominantly rock, metal, punk stuff. They're the kind of bands that we have on. Heavy metal, that sort of alternative sort of stuff.
Speaking of the type of music you play here, I've seen that the pool areas are usually where I believe the stage is. So what type of artists do you have perform here? Is it similar to the music? Or?
Yeah, very similar to the music. We try to get as many sort of local DIY bands and stuff in as we can, but then we also have a lot of touring bands. But it's all predominantly mostly from like punk, doom, sludgy, hardcore, metal, all the sort of alternative genres. That's what we tend to have. We tend to have music every Friday and Saturday, but sometimes for whatever reason we don't. You can noticeably tell the difference between a Friday if we don't have music and a Friday when we do.
What's the most ordered drink here?
One of the most recent popular ones we've had is we do our own in-house cask ale. So we've renamed it, rebranded it ourselves. We call it Chugging Riffs. It's just a shout out to bands and stuff that we put on. That's probably one of our most popular ones at the minute.
What other places do people visit in Nottingham who also like the Tap and Tumbler?
I would say the closest ones we have, Sal, there's Hitting Pendulum, which has got a sort of similar rocky vibe, but doesn't have live music. Billy Bootleggers is another place which I used to run, which also has like live music similar to this.
Do you think that there is still a good alt culture in Nottingham? Why or why not?
Yeah, I mean there's a great alt culture in Nottingham. There's loads of promoters, independent promoters putting on loads of gigs. Nightlife's getting busier and busier. You can see more and more people coming out doing things. It's a good time to be an alt in Nottingham.
So the final verdict, is the alternative scene in the UK dying? No, it's not dying.
So what do you guys think? Have you ever been to that shop before?
No.
Hopkinson's. It is great. They've got so much cool stuff in there. They've got rings, they've got jewellery, they've got clothes, they've got everything. And it's all unique and it's really cool. And they've got a nice coffee shop in there as well. So honestly, it's a great place to hang out, and it's got a lovely vibe. And that pub definitely seems, for me, with rock and stuff, that sounds great. So from the Beatles out of Liverpool and Oasis out of Manchester, a rising indie band from right here in Nottingham hitting new heights. If you don't believe me, just ask Jack Whittingham as he speaks with lead singer of Panchico, Owain.
It's 2001 in Nottingham, a city known for thieves, cheese and knife crime. 4 young lads in a band named Panchico are about to split up and go their separate ways after 2 years of music and mayhem. After their first EP gained as much traction as a brick of butter on a hot skillet, they all headed off to uni. And so, Panchico was no more. Until...
Hello and welcome to the studio here at Nottingham College. Today I have the pleasure of speaking to Owen from Panchico about the interesting history of the band. So Owen, can you explain to the audience how Panchico gained international success after being disbanded for over a decade?
We made a little demo on a CD back in the 90s, late 90s, before the internet was massive and before you had like Spotify. You'd burn your music onto a CD, you'd make some tracks with your friends and then send it off to record companies and A&R people to try and like gain some kind of interest from the record company, and they might write back and say, oh, that's really interesting, yeah, when have you got a gig here or there? But I think we only ever got one response. So yeah, we made this little CD demo and made it on a little like digital CD quality 8-track. We made these tracks and we were in a band and we played battle of the bands and gigs in places like Wolverhampton and Nottingham to playing to nobody and yeah, that was it. It was kind of like we went off and did our things at university, and then it was a bit like it's probably not going to happen in terms of like putting time into the band. But anyway, yeah, fast forward, like we did some music years ago, then went and carried on with our lives. January 2020, cold, dark January morning, I woke up one morning, I was coming to work, and I had a little Facebook message saying, were you the singer in this band, Panchico? But I go, but so why are you searching for that band? And then they told me this story of our old demo CD had been put in a charity shop in, we think, Sherwood in Nottingham, and someone had found it, looked at the cover, went, I'll put that on, and they burnt it, I think, onto their computer and uploaded it to a site called 4chan. But essentially, yeah, someone, and I still don't know who this person is, they uploaded the CD, put it on 4chan, but when they did put it on there, it was all like rotted, like something called bit rot, where the CD, we burnt onto a CDR, a recordable CD, which was of like slightly dubious quality. And therefore, the music, when it played, it was all stuttering and it was all like degraded. And they were like, we've been looking for this CD and want to know if you've got the original tapes and you've got the original masters to it, because we want it to be restored. And I went, why is that? Oh, because it's got this bit rot. And I'm like, oh, okay. So essentially, like, yeah, so what happened is someone had uploaded this file, it was all broken and it all sounded really weird and distant and muffly, like the music was dying and disintegrating off the CD. So initially, like, I had that moment where I went, oh my word, so people have actually listened to this CD that we made. I went, oh my word, I don't know what they're going to make of it. And so, like, I remember I went to my computer after that initial conversation and I just typed in Panchico into Google, and I did this, like, it was proper like a cheesy movie or something like that. I just hovered over the enter button for ages. I went, do I want to know? Do I really want to know what's going to come up when I press this button? What came up was interesting because there was a number of things on there about it. There were various fan videos of people taking this rotted music and making little anime videos to go inside along with it, and sort of led to the idea that, like, what was happening is we were something called lost media, which is something that's quite interesting when, like, where people find a recording or they find a bit of media that's sort of like, there's only a snippet of it that's been lost to time, and then so there's been a lot of music that's resurged because of this lost media, like sort of movement to find music that wasn't as popular at its time when it was created. and maybe there's a fan base for it. So then me and Andy, we got the new version of the music and we uploaded it with a YouTuber called Dismiss Yourself, who did a lot of lost media stuff. Because at the time we didn't have a YouTube channel, because we were like, we're not really a band, we're not really about promoting it. So we sort of, the initial stage was engaging with the community that found the stuff on the Discord, and then there was a particular guy called Dismiss Yourself he had a version of the Rotted album up online that had a number of plays and comments that I originally read about, when people discovered it, and went, wow, I can't believe that's about music I made when I was a teenager.
Well, thank you. I think that wraps it up, but we really appreciate you coming in today.
No
and new album out on the 4th of April.
Yes,
there you go. Everyone listen to
it. Hello. I mean, that's a really cool story, especially because it, went on 4chan and then it got popular after people found out 4chan. I think that's really cool. Yeah.
I think the most, the best part about it was they didn't intend for that to go anywhere. They just put it away, and someone managed to buy it and loved it and posted it, and then suddenly they've blown up.
It just sold itself, didn't it?
Yeah. And to round off the collage with the bread on top of the sandwich, we cross our fingers and pray for his stomach. It's part 3 of Hungry and Hockley. Are you still upright, Sammy?
Yes, I'm Anthony. I'm the general manager for Pho in Nottingham. I've been general manager for a year and a half. I've been in hospitality for over 20 years. So this is my passion. This is what I did. I also did my degree at Nottingham College. So I did that last year. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. Looking after you guys. So.
We had a pretty massive course. I mean, bloody hell. We had these cold fish things, had these spring rolls, which with a load of meat in them. Very nice. Here's me trying the dragon fruit lemonade. That's good. I'm gonna have to get another one of those. I ended up getting about 3 of them. While I was doing that, Christian was drinking weed.
Whoa, that is weird.
What's it like?
It's like drugs.
Here comes more food. What are these?
Give it a try.
I don't know.
That's beautiful.
It's alright, I've got it.
Yeah, think it.
Dink.
Oh my god.
Some noodle doodles, just in case.
We'll all pay for it.
So thick you need a forklift. Finally, the actual pho.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, it was so watery. They gave us bibs. It's like we were babies. But yeah, incredible food, I must say. So what's our final verdicts on pho?
I loved it. I was very surprised that I loved it because I have very basic taste, but everything was beautiful and I'd definitely go again.
Jackie boy?
Yeah, 100%. Really enjoyed it. Nice, different array of foods, drinks. Yeah, definitely go again.
Yeah, this is a solid 4.9 stars. Hell yeah.
We ate so much that day.
Yeah, I've got to say, I lied. I would not go back again. The stomach after the fact was not worth it for me.
Oh, we didn't show that part. Honestly, it tasted amazing, and we got 50% off, and yeah, it was just beautiful.
I think it depends as well, because it was it's extremely expensive, and I'm quite picky, so I'd only go for certain things. But I would go back, but not for everything that we got.
Whatever that nut sauce was, I'm coming back for that. That was great, I'm telling you for a fact.
Of course you would.
So, thank you for watching the Knots Collage. From all of us here in studio, enjoy the rest of your day.